Alrighty, good evening everyone, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday the 25th of October 2022. Definitely a mixed bag day. Um, stream-wise, pretty good day. I had a fun day playing the continuation of Gotham Knights, and also a nice chill stream of Disney Dreamlight Valley. Everyone seemed to have a good time. I had a good time, fun conversation with all of you, good progress in the games, and we'll talk about Gotham Knights in a second. Because my opinion, I think, is very different than most others at this point, which is kind of silly. But personally, a shitty day. Today, I basically was almost, I would say, overcharged for a car repair. They quoted me an amount that was exorbitantly high, like ridiculously high, and then couldn't even explain if it needed to actually be done. The work that they were quoting me, I was like, why would I pay this much? Unless we know that there's something wrong with what you want to do with the car. And basically I told them, no, we're not doing that. Just replace what's broken, which halved the amount that they were going to charge me. Is still way too much, but at least it halved it. And it was just bad feelings all around about it. When you take your car to a place and you can't really feel like you can trust. You know what I mean? Sadly, that's how it is in America. A lot of places, especially if you take your car to like a chain place to get fixed. So my stream started late this morning again because I had to call. Well, they called me. I had to return their call, basically haggle it out with them on the phone. And then I called my dad to get information because my dad knows a lot about cars. He used to fix them himself. And basically he told me I'd done the right thing. That I can't just expect exactly what they're saying to be truthful because they're trying to make money. They get paid to upsell. If you want the full story, watch the Level 1 podcast from this morning. I explained it in big detail there if you're interested at all. So I did my first stream, which was Gotham Knights. And at this point, I really do feel like my opinion on the game is very different from these journalists who got it early and reviewed it early. They were all of the impression the game's terrible. They said, number one, the graphics are awful because the frame rate is so choppy. Number two, the game's boring. Even though there's 4 characters, they're not very different or interesting. Number three, the game's too grindy. There's way too much content in an open world, and half the time when you're doing it, it's just the same things over and over. It's boring, very repetitious, and basically not interesting. There is story-based content. They didn't really like it or said there wasn't enough of it, okay? They also said the game's around 20 to 30 hours long, depending on how much you do. So I'm currently around 11 to 12 hours in. I'm here to tell you, as long as you play this game intelligently, meaning, if you're going to play Gotham Knights, don't just say, okay, there's a million icons on the screen, let's do all the boring ones that are marked to be grindy and boring for 2 hours and then complain the game's grindy and boring. The game has other content as well. Once you do usually just a couple of those open world side missions, it unlocks a story mission. So do the story mission. Right? Like, that's how, if you watch my playthrough and you see how I've approached it, I'm trying to do a variety of stuff for the viewers so they don't get bored. So I start off playing with Nightwing. I do 2 side missions with him, and then maybe I'll do a story mission, switch it. Now I'm playing with Red Hood. Okay, there's a whole side quest line starring a supervillain, right? Do that with Red Hood. Okay, we did that. Now switch to Batgirl. And now maybe, unlock some fast travel points. Do a little bit of grindy style content, only a couple, maybe 2 missions, and then go to the next story mission, do the next story mission, right? I don't think in any of the streams, I've done 4 streams of the game now, there hasn't been one stream where my progress has been any kind of significantly hindered by the fact that the way that the game works, that you have to do a few side missions to unlock a story mission. It's just never happened. Even today, this is the 4th stream. I'm doing new stuff. I was scanning drones to unlock fast travel, which is going to make the game way easier. That way I don't have to drive around. I think maybe the game developers were in such a rush to play it, they didn't even do half the missions to know what was meaningful. The fast travel means you never have to use the bike ever again, and the bike is time-consuming to drive around on. You just fast travel around. So why not do those? I don't know. Like, from every review that I kind of skimmed through before this game came out, they all said the same thing. I'm playing the game and literally not running into their issues at all. I'm enjoying myself, okay? Now, admittedly, the graphics are very underwhelming. They should have been better. They basically feel like a PS4 game, okay? That's not horrible, but when you paid $70 for a game that's supposed to be a current gen game and you get a game that looks like a last gen game, That's a problem. That really is the one legitimate gripe and complaint that I think I have about the game is the graphics. Outside of that, though, I like the gameplay elements. If you switch between the 4 characters on the fly like I've been doing every mission or two, you're leveling them up, you're getting new abilities, new equipment. They play a little differently. They're getting better for sure. The characters are getting much better the further into the game you get with their abilities, which is really nice. And they play differently. For example, Robin is all about stealth. And then when he gets into combat, using some really cool abilities like the clone or the crazy bow swing to do big damage or distract the enemies. Batgirl is a hacker. She can hack turrets. She can hack cameras. And then when she gets into combat, she has some really unique things she can do, like a whole group stun. She throws out her batarangs and stuns everyone. Red Hood's a brawler. Tons of damage, knocking you back with his guns, and his guns are very powerful. It can be in combos for big damage. Nightwing, I would say, leaves probably the most to be desired, but now that I've leveled up this ability, he has these, I think they're Tonfa sticks, I think they're called, or whatever. But he throws this like shockwave with it, and once you level it up, it starts doing big area damage against enemies, and then it hits them with an element too. So they're like on fire or they're electrocuted. It's really neat. So the more you play the game, the characters get better. And as long as you're swapping between the characters, you should never really get bored of playing as one character. Each character has their own unique backstories, and they have scenes that are unique to them, depending on what you do in the game and which ones you activate at the base. They have different dialogue for each story mission. So basically, the more I play this game, it's actually growing on me. I'm really enjoying it the more I get into it. And I'm like, it's weird because I thought it would be the opposite. From what the reviewers said, it gets too grindy and boring the further you get in. It's the opposite for me. But I think what it is, as I said this on my streams, I'll say it here on the Daily Wrap. These reviewers are given a review code. And they're told, here's Gotham Knights, beat it in 2 days. And then review it. That's what they're told by their bosses. So are they taking their time to play it at a good pace, to try to do variety? No, they have a fucking deadline to make. So here they go, turbo through, do every menial shitty task on the map back to back instead of balancing it and then complain about it after. How about use your fucking brain and you actually play it in a way that you would play any other open world game? Because I feel like they really gave this one the short end of the stick. I'm being honest. Like, the game has heart. The game has good writing in some parts. Some is pretty bad, but some is pretty good stuff. One thing that the game has is effort. You can tell they put effort into it. And the fact that this game is not getting a fair shake because these reviewers just basically rushed through it to fucking review it is not fair, in my opinion. So far, I love it. Now, here's the thing. I'm about 12 hours in. The game's roughly 20 to 30 hours long. We're going to play it again tomorrow night. Is it going to be any better or worse? I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I hope that it ends up being good, But I hope that it doesn't tank. Maybe the reviewers are onto something, and when you hit the 15 to 20 hour mark, the game sucks. But for me, I'm having a good time with it, all right? I had a great time with it on my stream today. Please enjoy the videos. Remember, with these new releases, a great way for engagement on this channel is to help by liking the videos and leaving comments and letting me know what you think, because I'm not in line with these reviewers right now, okay? Then on the latest stream, we did Disney Dreamlight Valley. It was very chill, fun, interactive, pretty much a grindy stream. And what I mean by that is we didn't really have major story progress with anyone, but there was a lot of gathering of resources and things. We did have good progress in that regard, and it was fun and interactive. We had a lot of conversation with the audience, back and forth. We had a good time. Support today was not great. I'm not going to lie, all right? We hit the Tier 1 tip skull on the first stream and the Tier 1 tip skull on the second stream. So it's not disaster, but at the same time, when I dropped as much money as I did today on my car repairs, I was hoping for better, but there's not much I can do on that, all right? Now, tomorrow is my final consecutive streaming day of the week. We're going to do a level 1 podcast where I'm actually going to show all of you, the bill that I was given, what I had to pay, and what they repaired on the car, because I'm being accused all over the internet, of course, of making it up, like I'm some asshole, right? No, I didn't make it up. But what's hilarious is this will be a test, because all these years people said, Phil, the reason that we don't believe you is you never show any receipts of anything. I'm actually going to show you the receipt tomorrow, and watch these idiots then say, well, you made it up. It's all fabricated. It's Photoshop. Then what's the point, right? Why'd you ever ask for anything if you were always going to say that? So let's see how they react tomorrow, okay? But anyway, we'll talk about it on the Level 1 podcast. We'll talk a little bit more about follow-up about these interviews, because I actually got some more information on that. And we'll have just a fun, chill final streaming day of the week. First stream tomorrow is Plague Tale Requiem. We've gotten pretty far into the game. I think we're past the halfway point at this point. I think we're on like chapter 10 or 11, and the game has 17 chapters. We're actually in a really unique part of the story right now, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because it almost feels like something bad is about to happen, like there's going to be a big twist in the plot at some point. So we're going to see. And the late stream is more Gotham Knights, so double new release tomorrow. If you can help me tomorrow by tipping, please do. it's really bad when I had to drop as much money as I just dropped, and we'll talk about it again on the podcast tomorrow. But out of nowhere, unexpected, it's definitely going to set me back. It's going to put me in a bad position. If you can help, do. Not asking for anything crazy, but appreciate anyone who helps in any way. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow for the final consecutive streaming day of the week. I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. I'll see you then.